Welcome back to another episode of the Profitable Fiction Author Podcast.
Hello.
Oh, yeah. Hello, Julie. And as you might know, my name is JD. Not just for you, Julie, but for everyone listening. Um, Julie, what's the highlight of your week so far?
Oh my gosh. Uh, I made an apple cake,
Yep.
caramel apple cake for the start of October. Every October, we watch this weird little cartoon miniseries called Over the Garden Wall, which I highly recommend. So, caramel apple cake, Over the Garden Wall, right into autumn.
Caramel, do you make like everything from scratch, like including like the crust and everything?
I'm super lazy about the caramel part. Like, I buy that in a jar, but everything else is from scratch.
Really? I don't think I've ever baked a cake before. Like a pie. Wait, are we talking cake or pie?
Cake.
What'd you say? Cake.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you don't do the pie, eh?
I don't like pie. My husband does, so he gets a pie on his birthday. And that's the only time we have pie in the house.
I like pie, but I don't always love the crust, like the outside crust.
Yeah.
So like even when I eat pizza, and I barely eat the outside crust because I'm like, this is just like wasted carbs. Like, why
Yes.
would I eat this? You know, you really want like the toppings and like the sauce and the bottom part. Yeah, apple. Yeah, apples are like huge up here too. It's getting like really cold. Where I used to live, like in Belleville, there was a big apple. We'll get to like the topic of the day today, which is reviews. By the way, I'm sure people saw the topic as the title, but we'll get to reviews of essentially. But there's a big apple like in Brighton, Ontario, Canada, and it's like this huge apple. I think it's probably like one of the world's biggest
Like
apples or
a
something.
statue of an apple?
Yeah, well, I guess you could call it a statue. Yeah, it's not a real apple. But like you can even like go inside and walk to like the top of the apple
Oh,
and like through the stairs on the inside.
okay.
And it's like this big like touristy thing, and they've been expanding on it for years. And they have like big tour buses that go. And I remember going there as when I was a kid, and it was just like they had the Big Apple, but it was just like the store was like pretty basic, and now it's like this whole destination.
Huh.
Like they have like Apple everything that you could possibly imagine. Whatever you can think of, they put Apple in it. Like Apple maple syrup, Apple like everything. So I feel like apples are like sort of big business.
For sure.
Yeah, yeah. And then you could do everything there except for pick your own apples, but they have like everything Apple there.
It seems like they're missing an opportunity there. Got to plant an orchard.
Yeah, but they have like animals. They have like mini putt. They have like because it's on the stretch of highway called the 401 from like the base in Trenton to Toronto. It's called the Highway of Heroes
Oh,
because that's where they would bring back fallen service people back to Canada after they've died
yeah.
in the war in Afghanistan. So it's called the Highway of Heroes. So they have a big statue there too, and it's quite important to me because I was actually part of like those like events on the tarmac when the bodies came back.
Oh, really?
Yeah, repat ceremonies,
Mm-hmm.
repatriation, and they were like a little bit tough to watch. But that stretch of the highway is called the Highway of Heroes, which I'm quite proud of.
What was your rank? I don't think I know.
It was not high. It was not high. Uh, so it goes private, corporal, and that's where I stayed at corporal.
Were you. So here we have enlisted and officers.
Yeah, I was enlisted.
Okay.
Yeah, you need to have like a university degree to become an officer,
Got it.
and I only had a college degree.
Wait, what? What? I don't understand the
Yeah,
difference.
it's different in
Oh.
Canada. It's different in Canada. Like we have college, which normally is like the hands-on stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I did survey engineering for my college diploma. So that was like hands-on, like going out to like fields and setting up like the tripod type of thing. And, you might have seen them around,
Yeah.
like on construction sites or farms and like that kind of stuff. And then university typically is more like theory or like textbook work.
Okay. Huh.
So yeah,
We
yeah,
definitely
that's
don't
that's
separate them.
Yeah, yeah, it's a little bit confusing. Anyways, you know what? Maybe we should. So I wasn't a very high rank. I was very grunt, like on, but I was also in my 20s, right? So I didn't care.
Yeah,
Like I liked the grunt work.
yeah.
I'd rather be doing that. Um, so I was actually like the one physically unloading the airplanes. That was my main job. And then I eventually, would get deployed, and then, true to form with this whole like profitable authorness, I was actually the lead load planner on two missions overseas.
Oh,
So you can't just like throw stuff on an airplane.
no.
It has to be like weight and balance, especially with the Hercules and so on, the C-130 Hercules. So they have to go on like a certain way, like weight and balance, and where the passengers are packed sitting and all that stuff. So I was actually on that role. So very transferable to, in a way, to, being a freak in the sheets, the Google Sheets, that is.
Yes. It's
Um,
mentally the same skills needed.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, let's get to the topic of today, which is reviews. So, Julie, I'll ask you the first question, and we can just go back and forth there.
Okay.
So, the first question is, and I'll let you answer this one first, and then I'll put in my 2 cents also. But why do reviews matter? So, we're talking about reviews on books. So, why do reviews matter so much on Amazon, and how do they influence readers' trust and buying decisions?
Well, I always think of your Amazon landing page when someone gets there. I mean, getting them there is one thing, which
Yeah,
requires ads and things. But once they're there, there's still a tremendous amount of friction between them seeing your page and pressing purchase for your book. And, the same people who will pay like $5.99 for a latte at Starbucks, it's like pulling teeth to get them to pay $2.99 or $3.99 for a Kindle book. And there's just sort of there's this definite like reluctance to spend money on books unless you feel sure or reasonably sure you're going to like the experience. And so reviews, in my opinion, are the main the main component of reducing that friction between someone getting there and someone feeling confident enough to purchase the book. I mean, and we have editorial reviews and awards and things like that that can also lessen that friction, but for some not for some reason, for obvious reasons, people see a star review and a certain number of people that have read the book and they think my risk is lower now because I can see there was 200 people that liked this book on average of 4.5. So my risk of purchasing this is low. Other people liked it. I will like it too. So to me, that's the main purpose of having those reviews is it's just it's like social currency between you and the prospective buyer. And when you're starting out, like people don't know who you are, they're taking you on faith. All they have to go on is did other people like it?
for sure. Yeah, like in marketing terms, we call it like social proof,
Yeah.
right? So, if they see 200 reviews or over 1,000 reviews, they're like, okay, lots of other people have read and enjoyed it enough to actually leave either a star rating or a written review. So I agree with you. Even just to sort of piggyback on a few things that you said there, a book for $5.99 or $4.99, and sort of comparing that to like a latte from Starbucks. The big thing with the latte, and the big difference there anyway, is that it doesn't take you 10 plus hours to finish the latte,
Yeah.
right? Of dedicated time. So it's and there's been studies done too, in like that written word media study, in terms of like what authors use to determine whether or not they'll pick up a book, and the first one being the book description. Pricing is one of the lowest ones. So, same with our services. I don't like to price things low because there's always a race to the bottom, right? And we're not playing, and I don't advise our authors to play that game in terms of racing to the bottom, because I don't want to get too distracted by pricing, but maybe we'll put that as another topic. But the Yeah, in terms of the reviews, yeah, it's social proof, and you're right. People are going to, and I famously say, well, I don't know how famous it is, but in my own mind, it's famous. People are going to the page and they're asking themselves two questions, consciously or subconsciously. Will I enjoy this book, and is this book any good?
Mm-hmm.
Will I enjoy this book is primarily done in the book description and the look inside, the preview that they can read. And is this book any good is answered by credibility factors. Those credibility factors being, as you alluded to, reviews on Amazon, which is really the gold standard of what we want, not reviews on Goodreads, although they can benefit from being transferred over from Goodreads onto Amazon. Editorial reviews and awards. So those are the credibility factors. And yeah, like, does a book perform better? And we'll get more into this in the next questions. Does a book tend to perform better when it has 100 reviews versus 20 reviews? Typically, yes.
Yeah.
Does one perform better with 100 reviews versus 500 reviews? Usually the 500 reviews will perform better. But everyone starts from somewhere, right? You don't automatically just wake up and boom, I have 1,000 reviews, right? It's a process to build up to that.
Exactly.
But we'll get more into it. Yeah.
So
Yeah, if you want to ask the next question.
yeah, so what is the best, most ethical way to get reviews to your Amazon page without breaking any of Amazon's many rules about it?
Yeah, so Amazon does protect their review system quite fiercely.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know or don't remember that someone had to have spent $50 on Amazon. I think it's $50 in the past year on
Yes.
Amazon to be
Yes.
able to leave a review. Yeah, to be able to leave a review, which is like, for me in the bubble that I'm in, I spend $50 on Amazon like at least every week,
Oh, for
right?
sure.
Like, I just like, for me, it's sort of hard to like even imagine that somebody. And my brother always bugs me about it too. I'm like, I say to him, "Why are you going to Walmart? Why are you going to Target? Like, why are you going to these places? Why don't you just order it on Amazon?"
Right.
I mean, like, in terms of like your return on time, it's far better,
Yes.
right? You order it in your bed, and you don't have to go into the car
Yep.
and spend the hour and all that sort of stuff, right? Um, and he always fights back. He's like, "Well, it's nice to be like around people sometimes too, dude. Like, it's just the act of doing it. Not everything is about pure efficiency." Uh, and I'm like, yeah, I know. Uh, so, really going back to the question of what's the best ethical way to start building reviews without breaking Amazon's rules is, so there's that $50 thing. But in terms of the terms of service, what they really don't want is incentivized reviews.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what is an incentivized review? In the most blatant, obvious way, it's, "Hey, Julie, I will give you $50 for you to leave a review on my page."
Yeah.
And there's no shortage of people hitting your inbox or your DMs saying, "Hey, I will review your book for X dollars." And I find that kind of like quite risky, right? Like not even thinking about like Amazon's terms of service, right? I'm not going to be like all like virtue signaling, be like, "Oh, never do this." Even just like, is it like worth the risk to reward ratio, right? So what are we risking? We're risking $50 or $80 or whatever that they're asking in terms of review, and what is the likelihood that will go through on Amazon? I don't know. Maybe a 20%, 30% likelihood it will. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't really spend that much time in that space, so nor do I recommend it. I was speaking to an author recently, and he was talking about that in terms of getting the initial reviews. And I'm like, let's try these other methods
Yes.
first. Like, I feel like that could work. It's just could backfire. And knock on wood, not as over 350 authors that I worked with, maybe more now, and not one has gotten banned or slapped on the wrist from Amazon for any sort of like trying to game the system or anything like that.
Yeah.
So the best, most ethical way to start building reviews early on really is reaching out to an ARC team. So the whole question becomes, what can the ARC team be for the very first time? Is it friends and family? And we can use friends and family. Now, I feel like it gets into a gray area in terms of incentivized reviews, right? You can make the argument for and against friends and family being incentivized reviews.
Exactly.
So, that crazy uncle that we all generally have, right? He might be incentivized to leave a poor review, a bad review. That being said, it can help us get to those first initial reviews. So I'm not going to like virtue signal to be like, oh no, never, never, ever do that. It can help us.
Yeah.
It's ideal if they purchase the book and then leave a review for a verified review. I think we'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's advantageous. It's more likely that the review will actually be approved from Amazon if it's a verified review. So they purchase the paperback or whatever. They want to support you. And a lot of friends and family, if they're really supportive, it's hard to stop them from even purchasing the review,
Right.
purchasing the book and leaving a review, right? So, yeah, but there's other sites that specialize in it, like Hidden Gems Books, Book Sirens, Book Sprout, Voracious Readers Only. What's the other big one that costs like hundreds of dollars? I forget what it was called.
Hidden Gems?
No. NetGalley.
NetGalley, yeah.
So in that case, we do recommend those ones because we're paying for them in most cases, but what we're doing is paying for the abilities to use the platform to connect with readers who are wanting free books in exchange for a review.
Yeah.
So we're good there. Yeah, I'm just going to stop there and then see what you think so far.
No, I agree with all of that. Those first 5-10 reviews are excruciating to get, especially when you're a first-time author, and so using friends and family is smart. It's the most sort of surefire way you're going to get people to pick up your arcs is if you already know them and they are disposed to, like your work and want to support what you've done. To me, there's not really an issue with that. One thing I would sort of advise is sometimes it's better if they just rate it than if they leave a review, like particularly if you share a last name, like with your aunt, if you share a last name, just the rating maybe is the way to go. But yeah, I agree. Family friends can be sort of your first line of attack, and then these reputable ARC services.
For sure. And we go much more into this into our actual coaching and those that we run the marketing for them. But yeah, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but really what we want is those initial 5 to 10 reviews. So there is an end to it.
Yeah.
Right. And you're right, where again, those initial reviews it's typically the most difficult part of it.
Yes.
It's typically the most difficult part of it. That's where an author, if they're quite anxious about the whole thing, this is where their anxiety will sort of peak.
Yes.
Is in this part. I've had, hundreds of authors, but like one author just basically like freaked out. Because again, that initial 5 to 10 was challenging for him. The best way to look at it is, hey, we just got to do this one time. That's it.
Yeah.
It's just the one time. And once we have that, we don't have to obsess over getting more reviews.
Exactly.
The reviews will come in organically from people who organically read the book. So yeah, most authors that we work with, almost all of them, 99.9% of authors understand it. But just a warning for people, that it's just part of the process. Yeah. I guess we'll get to the next question. So what do most authors get wrong about reviews, and how should they handle negative ones?
Ooh,
That's a juicy one.
Yeah, juicy.
Yeah, you'll be good at this one.
Well, okay, I'm going to start with handling negative reviews, because I think that's the biggest place people go wrong anyway. And my biggest piece of advice there is don't panic. You know, you can be the juiciest peach in the world, and there are just some people who don't like peaches. So there will be people who don't like your book. There just will. And there will be people who are not nice about it either, because that's how some people in the world travel through. They don't like things that aren't perfect. They're going to nitpick at other people because it makes them feel better. They're prolific in the book reviewing space. People feel online a lot of power and sort of breaking other people down. I mean, it won't happen that often, but you're going to get bad reviews. And the main the main thing to do is don't respond to them. You don't need to engage with trolls. You don't need to engage with people who just didn't like your book. You can't argue people into changing their opinion. You do look a little bit crazy if you do. If you're interacting with people on Goodreads and arguing with them, and yeah, I think my biggest piece of advice to new readers particularly is that accept that you're going to get bad reviews, and it hurts and it sucks, but it is just a part of being an author, and it is inevitable. You cannot have a book that doesn't have bad reviews. You're going to get a 1-star review. You just will, because that's just how life goes. So being able to accept those with grace, realize that it doesn't define you. It doesn't define your book. Bad review doesn't mean your book is bad. I mean, if you're seeing like a pattern of only bad reviews, maybe you're going to want to rethink your editing or something. But, there's going to be bad reviews that come along, and realizing that before they start coming and accepting that fact is going to prevent a lot of heartburn and, angst and anguish.
Yeah, I would say that is good. Getting mentally even prepared for that, because a lot of authors, when they come to us, they're like, my friends and family have read it and they really like it,
My editor
and
loved it.
my editor liked it. I don't think I've met a single editor who has ever said that they didn't like a book.
Exactly.
Almost every single editor likes the book.
Yeah.
Right. So once we start getting it out to people who are not incentivized to us at all, right? And the internet is a place where people are generally, because of the anonymity of it, people are not scared of sharing their opinion,
Yeah.
however toxic it might be. And that is where we get the true unfiltered version of what people think about it, right? Not from the friends and family or the editor that we're paying, right? The true unfiltered version of it. And yeah, there's some 1-star reviews that will come in. Yeah, it's challenging because you put so much of your heart and soul into the book, right? And so much time and everything. Especially if it's some people just write books purely for commercial purposes, right? And I think there is a balance that we need to have, especially if we want to be profitable. We need to balance out what our heart and soul is telling us, and the commercial viability of a book. Do we have the genre tropes, all that type of stuff? But if we look at it, especially if we're looking at it from, hey, each book, because your first book is usually your worst book. Like, that's just a fact of life.
Yes.
The first time is always the worst. And usually the next time is better. And the next time is better. The next time is better, and so on. So you want to get better with each book. That really is the key. So that can give you like a lot of good feedback too. What a lot of authors do to feel better about a poor review is look up their favorite books, their favorite authors, and read their bad reviews, right? Because every single book will have bad reviews.
Yep.
So that's one tip. And the other one is just to learn from it. And another one is that you can actually, a bad review can be good. The worst part about it really is like a 1-star rating, like nothing written,
Yes.
right? Just a rating. At least if it's written, it can, when people are looking through the reviews to whether or not they're going to decide to consume your book, that if a written poor review can actually help, right? Like for an example, it's like, hey, this book had way too much gore in it for me, and it was too graphic. If it's a horror book, right? Man, that might actually attract the right type of person, right? To be like, oh man, I'm looking for like something really gory and graphic. And you can actually like use that in your marketing copy too,
Yes.
right? To be like 1 star, it was too gory and graphic for me. It's going to attract the right type of people, right? So they're not always a bad thing. Yeah. Okay, next question.
Do you think reviews can actually shape an author's future books, future writing? Can looking through reviews actually affect the future of the author and what they decide to do going forward?
I'm trying to look for that question in there. What question number is it?
I skipped number 5 because we had already talked about it. Number 6.
Oh, okay. Oh, we never talked about number
Oh, I
4 though.
missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
You want to come back to that one?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah,
yeah.
let's do that one.
So, what is the most effective way to actually ask for reviews? Back of the book,
Yeah,
email, what?
yeah. So if you do decide to build up an email list, that's one of the best ways because you can put a call to action. A call to action is, well, I don't know if I have to explain it. A call to
Yeah,
action,
it's
saying like,
self-explanatory.
so you can put in the back of the book, hey, leave a review. Or you could say like a reader magnet where you say, hey, sign up to my email list to get this in return for it. I find emails more effective because, once you have their email address, if they're opening the emails, you can ask for a review several times.
Yep.
In terms of the script, what I found was for some people, it can work better if you say, hey, instead of saying a review, can you leave a comment? So when people sometimes think of review, they're like, man, I got to write this whole thing. I got to sit down for a long time and really think it out. If you word it as, hey, can you leave a comment in the review section? People are like, oh, it reduces the commitment,
Yeah.
right? To be like, hey, I could just write, hey, this was a great book. I read it. It took me 2 days to read it. That's it. Like just a comment. The most effective way to actually ask readers for reviews. I think I answered that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Any thoughts on that?
No, I mean I totally agree. The most effective way to ask them is to have some kind of CTA call to action in the back of the book that will lead people to your email list, and then once you have the trust, it's easier to ask people for a favor, and it does require them to make an effort. So I like that idea of, can you leave a comment? Like, you don't need to write an essay. It shouldn't take that much time. And if they can't review, can you rate it? That takes a second to do. Just one click of the button.
Yeah, Amazon wants a review. So if somebody's reading in a Kindle app too, I think Amazon prompts them to leave a review if they finish the book.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing too, right? It's like the review rate. So, when we talk about, reviews will come in organically. The review rate, like how many people actually purchase the book to like how many go on to leave a review or a rating, is quite low. And it really is like when you think, sometimes I ask authors, when's the last time you rated something? A lot of times they're like, well, I never do.
Yeah.
Right. And that's like the majority of people. People are generally more apt to leave a review when, one, they finish the book. So they need to be able to finish the entire book. And two, if they got some sort of emotional connection,
Yeah.
emotional experience from the book. right? Because people are generally more apt to leave a review from either a really good experience or a really bad experience, like some sort of emotion that's driving them to leave that. So the review rate will increase once they have that. But just know that some authors, I think, hey, I got these 10 book sales, these 10 reviews will come in. Right.
Yeah.
And that's just like
No.
not the case. I got these 10 book sales and maybe one rating will come in.
Maybe. Yeah.
Right. So even just being aware of that. Because yeah, I rarely review things. Like even like on Google, I'm like a local guide or something
Yeah.
because I've reviewed so many things, and I don't think I rate or review things very often at all. And whenever I do, it's usually a 5-star or a 1-star.
Exactly. Those are
You
the
know?
only two options. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
It was either so much better than you expected that you feel the need to praise it, or there was rats at the restaurant and like this is unacceptable. I need to give it a 1. That
For
2,
sure.
3 stars is like who does that?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, and I'm really cautious of rating things like 1-star because, like, as a business owner, I understand. Like,
Yes.
I get it. Like, not everything can be perfect every single time, but when it's like blatantly, like, really upsetting me,
Yes.
yeah, like especially for scams and stuff.
Yes.
I remember one time I was returning a rental car, and there were some scratches on it, and I'm like, I don't think those are from me, and I ended up getting charged like $600 or $700 for it, and I was just pissed. I was pissed. It was in Europe in a different language, and
Yeah.
I felt like maybe they were taking advantage of me, and I was just pissed. And yeah, that'll be a 1-star like
Yep.
every day of the week.
Yep.
You charge me like €500. Yeah, that'll be a 1-star every day of the week. So, anyways, yeah. Next question. We'll pick up the pace here a little bit.
Yeah.
So, can reviews actually help shape an author's future books or writing? I'll let you answer that one.
I say yeah. If you're picking up on themes in the reviews, good or bad, and one thing you can do is just copy them all and put them into ChatGPT and have it spit out, sort of an AI summary of these are the things people tend to like, these are the things people tend to dislike. I personally don't read my reviews. So if I was to try to look for patterns, I would need to do like an overall big thing. And the reason I don't read my reviews is because I could get emotional about it. Like, and I also just don't want the up and down of like constantly seeing what other people think. Like, I liked my book. If other people do too, that's great. I don't need to know if you didn't like it. But
Well, I'm going to bring up your book page right now and just read for you every single bad review. Get you in a good mood.
Well, okay, let me put a caveat on that. I will read the first like 15 reviews. And because if there's a problem, I'm going to know that. I want to know that right away. But after that, after I'm like, okay, I think this is about a 4.5 or whatever, I stop reading the reviews. But being able to sort of go through them, get some sort of summary of like, okay, people really like the humor, or people really like this or that, and you can double down on those in the next books. Or if it's like, people hated the way this was formatted, or like they didn't like that you left a cliffhanger ending, or like there's patterns to what people liked and disliked, you can use those patterns to make your next book bigger, either by doubling down on the good stuff or trying to avoid the stuff that sort of was, let's say more than 50% of people didn't like something about your book. That might be a good indicator that, you know what, I might want to do this different next time. So you can't, part of the reason I don't read my reviews too much is because I don't want to be tossed here and there by public opinion. But there's something to be said for looking at the bulk of the public opinion. Like, if the majority of people think there's something wrong with some aspect, they're probably right. But you don't want to, you can't go after every comment and think, okay, well, now I have to change this or now I have to change that. It's more about looking for patterns.
For sure. And I jokingly said I was going to read the bad reviews in your book. I have to say there are 0 1-star out of like over 1,000 reviews you have on one of your books, there are 0 1-star reviews. There is a 2-star review, but it's not going to piss you off. It says technical issues prevented me from reading it. So the book can get jammed up and wouldn't let them turn the pages. So
How is that
probably a
my
technical.
fault?
Yeah, I know. It's so dumb that they even leave that review on your page, right? Like it's yeah. And that's the only 2-star review you have. So yeah, I
Okay.
mean, people will just yeah. It's whatever. Who cares? Like your average is like 4.7 or 4.6 or something. Which is good. You know, like when you think about it, like in school, that's like a 92% on an exam that you got, right? Which is pretty good.
Yes,
Um,
I like to get A's. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's another thing of like when you start out, you sort of have to decide, am I going to obsess over every review that comes in, or am I going to
yeah.
look for patterns and take advice with a grain of salt and adjust where I need to. If there's a problem, you'll know because it will arise over and over.
Yeah. And hey, if you put out a book and it bombs in the reviews, the great thing about this is you could take the book down, rework it, and relaunch it
Yep.
under a new title.
Yep.
Like it's not a big deal. It's not like we're carving this into stone, right? Oh yeah, it's not getting some good feedback. I'll take it down, relaunch it under a new title. All that costs us is some time, maybe some editing, and a new ISBN if we go with the ISBN. Like that's it. It's not like the end of the world.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay, great. So let's do lightning round.
Okay.
So we'll go back and forth, and then 10 seconds to answer.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So we got the timer on top of this, or at least I see a timer. So we can count at 10 seconds.
All right. I'll ask the first one.
Okay, do it.
Minimum number of reviews you need at launch.
Oh, that's easy. The minimum number of reviews I always recommend to people is 5 to 10. 5 is the minimum, ideally 10. Obviously, the more the better.
Yep.
Before we start promoting it to a cold audience that's using ads. Other than that, it'd be a waste. Okay. Next one. Verified or unverified reviews? Which carry more weight?
Verified all the way. Those are going to cross marketplaces from Amazon.com to .canada to .uk to .au. Yeah, verified.
10 seconds. We have to be stuck to the 10 seconds. Should we reduce it down to like 8 seconds or something?
Ooh, 8 seconds. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. ARC team or promo sites, which is better?
That's a dumb question. I came up with the questions. That one's dumb. ARC teams, ideally, but you have to have already had like some book sales and email list. Other than the friends and family, you got to cut me off. Okay,
You're done.
that's it. Okay. Do star ratings or written reviews matter more?
Star ratings is my opinion. You got that like 5 seconds where people look at your page and make a decision. Star ratings.
Okay. But if they leave a written review, they have to have left a star rating as well. Mm-hmm. Still star ratings? Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
I want to start getting more controversial with these. Okay. Next one.
One tip to make your review request sound natural, not desperate.
Yeah, if you just word it like, hey, leave a comment, it really helps other readers find the book if you enjoyed the book and leave an honest review. I don't know how to make it even sound desperate. Please, please, please leave a review because that
Yep,
can also
that would be
help
desperate.
as well. You know, to be like, hey, I need your guys' help. I need to get up to 50 reviews. There is some. Okay, I'm going to take longer than 8 seconds here. Okay, just there's one. I play a lot of pickleball, or at least I used to. And there's one person who had a pickleball YouTube channel, and she had 307 subscribers, and she did a post, and it was very much like almost clickbaity in a way. It was like, I don't think I'm going to keep up with this because I'm not getting people's support. It was a little bit tough actually to read. And she's like, I want to get up to 1,000 subs to monetize her YouTube channel, and she sent that out literally yesterday. So she was at 307 subs. Now, today, she's up to 423. So that was her posting it on our Facebook page or a Facebook profile. So I think that can help. I don't know if I totally agree with her in terms of, hey guys, no one's supporting me. But it can be sort of, hey, I'm thinking about giving up on writing or something.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I think being like vulnerable in a way can also quite help.
In an
Help quite a
authentic
bit.
way. Yeah.
In an authentic way. Yeah. So she got, over 100 subs in a day, right? Which was probably like the fastest. Now, you can argue about the quality of those subs,
Yep. Yep.
and maybe there was even something before that was reducing, that was not opening up for people to leave to subscribe. A big part of it is just like telling people what you want them to do and making it clear.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's probably a lot of people that were like, oh, I didn't know you wanted us to subscribe. I didn't know that was important.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I saw the videos and maybe I'll watch the videos or something, but I didn't know you wanted us to subscribe. So thank you for telling us, right? Because I want to support you. So, was that 8 seconds?
Yeah. That was exactly 8 seconds.
Perfect. Okay. Next one for you. What's the ideal ratio of positive to negative reviews for credibility?
Oh, geez. I can't answer this in 8 seconds. I would say you want like a 3.9 or above in whatever permutation of 3s, 4s, and 5s you need to get that.
Yeah. I agree. Okay.
Should authors respond publicly to reviews? Yes or no?
Well, back in the day, you could actually respond on Amazon.
Yeah.
This was like 4 years ago plus. But on Goodreads or like on any other social media, no, unless you make light of it and you use it to the advantage. Use it to your advantage.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah. One word to describe how authors should feel about a 1-star review.
Okay. One
word. That's tough. I know.
Curious.
That is probably the best word you can come up with. I would have come up with livid.
Yeah, well, yeah, that is how I feel, but
No.
you should treat it with curiosity. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Curious. That's a fantastic answer.
Well,
we could spend 10 minutes trying to come up with a word.
I'm pretty fantastic. Is that all of them? Is that it?
That's all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, another good session.
Yep.
Next week, I think we'll talk about, I don't know, something else. We'll decide.
Yeah.
If anyone has any ideas what we can talk about, we're not running out of ideas by any means, but we want to make it most appealing to people. Send us an email like hello@weekendpublisher.com. hello@weekendpublisher.com, and we'll talk about that specific thing. Even if you email us and you have a question to be like, hey, this is my situation. What should I do?
Yeah.
We could like totally break it down. I'd love doing that.
Yep.
All right, Julie. Good session.
All right.
See you next week.
See ya.